Welcome to the GI Nutrition Show. I'm Amy McCrea, registered dietitian and CEO of Grounded Root Nutrition. Today's topic is R4 Restructure. So, as we've gone through my 5 roots approach, we have touched on R1 Reveal, which is where we uncover what's going on. We've talked about R2, where we're going to remove all of the inflammatory things within our body. So whether it's parasites or toxins, that's really what we want to focus on this R2 remove phase. Then we've got the R3 repair, where obviously we're going to rebuild the gut lining and kind of strengthen the body. And today we're moving on to R4, which is restructure, where we're going to learn to incorporate very simple lifestyle changes to support the whole body with this huge focus on the GI tract. So many times you have heard me talk about probiotics. I've done an entire episode on that already. And that is one of the things that we are going to work on in this phase. So once we have eradicated everything within our body, we really have to repair and restore. And we have done a good bit of that in the R3 phase with a type of supplementary probiotic. But in this restructure phase, we are really going to take a deep dive and look at the lifestyle and environment and diet components and see what we can change to better support you. Now, of course, during this phase, there's so much to consider. They are unlimited turns for where we could go, and it's very, very patient specific for what we do. And I really like to meet patients where they're at. And you are going to have the ultimate voice in this. This is not, we're going to do what Amy says. It's, I want you to do what you want to do. Of course, I'll give you suggestions and tips and guidance. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what do you want and what kind of capacity do you have? So from an environmental perspective, we are really going to look at our cleaning chemicals. I mean, that's pretty basic, right? And we're even going to go to the level of what's your dishwasher detergent that you use and see where we can have some synergies. We'll even look at your water and how can we improve the water that you're drinking to reduce the toxic burden on your body. So it's going to be some stuff like going to the Environmental Working Group site and checking out, maybe you look at their tap water, put in your zip code and see what does your tap water look like and what do we need to do? Do you need just a simple Brita filter? Do you need reverse osmosis? What works for you and what's also within your budget? So we have to consider all of those things. So that's just a little dabble in environment. Another thing that we might look at in environment is, let's say you have a lot of allergens, seasonal allergies. Perhaps pets are an allergy for you. And so what we really need to look at is getting an air filter. I have one in my office. I love dogs and I am 100% allergic to them. So we are very particular about the breeds that we bring into my house. And I know under no circumstances, uncertain terms, I cannot have a lab. It cannot have any inkling of lab in it. It can't even be a Labradoodle. I cannot deal with that breed. It sends my allergies through the roof. But even though I have a dog, I have a filter in my office. And then I also have a filter in my bedroom because yes, our dog sleeps in the bedroom. And in case you're wondering, no, the dog does not sleep in the bed because by golly, if the dog slept in the bed, neither of us would have any spot to sleep. We have a Greyhound lurcher right now. We're going to be getting another one. Super excited. And they are not welcome in the bed. They must stay on the floor in their own bed. But even with that, they're going to shake, dander's going to fly. And so really having that air filter in the bedroom makes such a big difference. So we'll look at those environmental factors. Then we're going to look at lifestyle. So some of the things as simple as, are you moving every day? And how are you moving? So if you have a hiatal hernia, we're going to look at some of those stretches and what are we doing to nourish the diaphragm and see if we can make any synergies and add a few things in. Do you like yoga? Do you like running? Do you like walking? What's your pace that you like? These are all the questions that we are going to consider. Do you like going into the gym? Do you prefer to do things at home? And what does your time look like? How much time can you realistically commit, and how many times a week? Or are we looking at maybe it's moving a little bit after meals? Because for you, the mindset of sitting down and like being on a bike is just more than you can handle, or committing to running or walking for an hour block is more than you can handle. That's fine. We're going to find other ways to do it. But movement is so incredibly important, not only for our mental health, but also for our gut health. Movement also helps our body make serotonin, which is why it is so good for both, because we need serotonin. That's our feel-good hormone, but it also helps regulate bowel movements. So serotonin, we can't do without it, and it is truly deserves a little bit of credit, and we've got to nourish it and really make sure that our body's able to make it in the amounts that we need. And then we're also going to look at your diet. Of course, you came here, and if we just go back to eating how we did beforehand, before all these problems started, we're going to end up right back there. So we've really got to make some changes. But again, those changes are going to be with meeting your capacity. So what can you handle? What do you have the brain power and the bandwidth to be able to do? Is it something like you need to utilize a home service? Maybe it's factor meals because you can't cook all the days and you need to be able to take stuff in. Or maybe you want to go somewhere like a dream dinners type of a place and put together a bunch of meals. That's awesome. We are going to learn how to restructure what your plate looks like and how to build a plate that's going to nourish your body. So your gut requires a good bit of fruits and vegetables. If you think of the Mediterranean diet, it's really, really common. And that is where I tend to gravitate moving most of my patients towards, because it has a much higher level of fruits and vegetables, which is what we need, and much, much lower in the American processed foods, which we don't need a whole lot of. That stuff can really tank our guts. And for some people, the folate enriched foods are actually counterproductive based on their genetic SNPs that they might have. And we don't want that. So the idea is to build a food plan and really learn how to restructure our plates, everything from your simple breakfasts to your snacks, to how to pack lunches, to how do we cook at dinner, how do we make easy dinners that are not as time consuming. And maybe you have a life event coming up. Perhaps there is a pregnancy that you're expecting and you're not sure what you're going to do when you get home from the hospital. We're going to talk through all of that. So this is all part of the restructuring process to really build a lifestyle, environment, and diet that are going to support all of the changes we just put into place, that are going to build a really diverse microbiome so that we don't go through any of this again, and your body stays nice and strong and you avoid a good bit of illness. So that's a little bit about what we would do in our restructuring section of. So that is a little bit about what we would do in R4 Restructure, and that gets dabbled in throughout our entire time that we work together, because we can't, on day one, in the reveal phase, we're not going to have all of the answers. We have to wait a little bit for some of these test results to come in. And so we're going to really take a deep dive into these things starting at the beginning. But there are a few things that we might pivot and really wait until we've done some of the work to eradicate maybe some pathogens that are within your gut before we implement changes. But it's a mindset adjustment, and it really does take a good 6 months to wrap your head around all the changes that are needed and really set yourself up for long-term success. That's my goal. I want to make it sustainable for you in the long term so that you feel well forever. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please visit my website, groundedrootnutrition.com, to learn more about how I can become a partner in your health journey, or feel free to contact me directly at hello@groundedrootnutrition.com. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.